What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am. Today I've got a story time for you guys that was sent in to me about a kid that this person went to elementary school with that basically, was just a weird dude. It's been a while since I've made like a weird kid video, so I figured I would just send it YOLO. It should be a pretty enjoyable time if you enjoy listening to stories about weird people that are Satanist kids that refuse to eat anything but paper. And yeah, before we get into it, be sure to press the like button or no joke, no scam, I'm gonna have to fight you. And let's get into it. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. I got eyes like an eagle, stacking so much money you would think that it's illegal. I'm getting quiet now, lay low when you're rich, so I'm piping down, making out, stack the bread, cause you love the sound, just so. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, now I understand that elementary school is probably the time where most of us are the weirdest, bro. We're pretty influenced by our parents. That being said, dude, it doesn't mean that when you're in elementary school, you're not aware of the fact that these kids can sometimes be a little bit bizarre, bro. And I guess it all started with this kid on the first day of school when everybody was asked to stand up and introduce themselves and say something they liked, and it was like 4th grade. So most of the kids are like, I like Pokemon, I like Fruit Ninja, whatever, like whatever 4th graders were liking at the time. And this kid, who we're gonna name, I don't know, Johnny for the rest of the story, stands up and says, hi, I'm Johnny, and my favorite thing is when I'm watching horror movies and the people are getting killed and they're screaming. And the entire class is just kind of like, okay. Imagine you're sitting there in 4th grade and some 4th grader starts piping off about how he loves to watch people die in horror movies. But he doesn't stop there. He continues to explain that he just thinks it's really funny and that horror movies are his favorite genre, and he starts explaining like his favorite death scenes from horror movies. And the teacher eventually cuts him off and just tries to move on the rest of the class like nothing happened. But the person who sent me in this story just made a mental note that like there is a possibility that this kid will take a chunk out of your arm if given the chance. So just maybe don't fall asleep near him. And listen, that's a survival instinct, all right? That's not judging a book by its cover. That's just realizing that some people kind of want to eat you. But what was weirder than that is that this kid, for whatever reason at school, you like lived this fantasy world that made no sense to anyone else, that he wasn't able to eat food. Yeah, that's right. For some reason, this guy was convinced that only at school he wasn't able to eat food, he could only eat paper. And he would literally, like at recess, walk up to kids and be like, hey, want a piece of my snack, while holding some loose leaf notebook paper. And then when they would say no, he'd be like, fine, more for me. And then just start taking bites out of the loose leaf notebook paper as if that's just a perfectly normal thing to do, like, I don't know why everyone's weirded out. I don't know about you, but college ruled is a little bit better than wide ruled. Like, that was just perfectly normal for him. And apparently he was so obsessed with eating paper that like even the teachers started telling him to stop eating paper, but he would respond to the teachers, and you'd think, he'd be like, no, I want to eat paper, it makes it yummy. Like just some stupid argument if he was stupid enough to be eating paper in the first place, right? But no, this guy actually had a reason as to why he was eating paper. It wasn't a very good reason by any means, dude. Don't get it twisted. But it definitely was a reason. I guess one day at recess, he had been found with like a little tiny notebook, like diary sized, behind these trees at the end of the playground. And when they ended up finding him, he was about a quarter of the way through it. He had eaten all the paper. And so obviously they had to take him to the nurse. The nurse had to call his parents. They were going to have to go to the hospital because they didn't know like how much paper he had eaten and what else. And he refused to tell them. And so for safety reasons, they were like, oh my God, we don't know what this kid's eaten. What if he like ate a bunch of pens with it? So they just decided they were going to take him to make sure there's nothing in his stomach, right? And he's not telling them anything. And I guess before his parents came to pick him up, and the person only overheard this because they were in the nurse's office with a stomach ache at the same time, he finally admits to the teacher, he looked at them and was like, Satan takes over my body when I'm in this location. This school is cursed ground, and as long as I stay here, Satan will never leave. And he like said it in a super low voice, dude, and obviously all the teachers just didn't really know how to respond, and after that it was almost like a vacuum just sucked sucked all the sound out of the room. And realistically, dude, it's probably a situation where this kid was watching a bunch of horror movies, saw The Exorcist, where like, you know, oh no, demon possesses girl, she throws up, call the guy to do the exorcism, and then was like, school's boring, might as well to pretend to get possessed by the devil, dude. But when you have this kid who's constantly eating paper, you know, like, and fighting with other kids, it's not a good situation because, and this is where the story gets even weirder, dude, it wasn't even like he would eat paper by himself. Whenever the teachers would try to take it away previously, like, you know, let's say it was the middle of class, she handed out an assignment with a bunch of math on it, homie would just start eating it right away in the middle of class. So the teacher would be like, hey, stop that, you know what I mean, and go to take it away from him, which is kind of what I have to do to my dog. And he would try to bite the teacher, dude. Like, he would start snapping at the teachers as if that was normal. So imagine this kid that for the whole year so far has been trying to bite teachers, biting students, telling everybody that like, I love the look on people's eyes when they're drained of life in a horror movie. And now he starts telling you you're possessed by Satan. All right, I'm not saying it's the most reasonable story, but at this point you're probably kind of like, anything's possible. This guy's crazy. And the kid who sent in the story ended up getting sent out of the nurse's office before his parents came to pick him up, dude. But I think that would have been the real juicy tidbit, bro. What do this kid's parents look and act like? And how annoyed were they by this? Like, did they pull up to the school? How many times have we been over this, Xander Johnny Ballsack 7th the 3rd? Stop pretending to be a demon at school. It's very exhausting to come deal with this. Or were they like, oh my god, I don't know what's gotten into my son. He's acting like he's been raised by wolves. So obviously, after that incident, even the teachers were kind of a little bit afraid to deal with him. And maybe afraid isn't the right word, but apprehensive. Where there used to be like, you know, a lot of understanding and patience was just kind of replaced by like ignoring him, you know? They had spent so much time trying to prevent this kid from doing all this stuff, and just time and time again, I'm possessed by demons, I'm this, I'm that. And realistically, what probably happened is the parents came and were like, do not do anything to my kid. If he wants to eat paper, that's his choice. I've seen that happen before, bro. I've like been in the office before where a parent will come in and the teachers will be like, yeah, your kid is eating glue. And they're like, well, you know what? If my kid wants to eat glue, it's America. It's like, oh, dude, they're just trying to prevent your kid from, you know what? All right, fine. Let the kid eat glue. But the only problem is when they started to ignore Satan Kid is his hijinks and his antics got even worse, which is what usually happens when you try to just ignore a bully or like ignore a problem. It doesn't go away. They just get braver and braver because nobody's sitting there telling them not to do it. You know what I mean? And just the little tidbits of like eating paper and biting people whenever they were taking it away started to be replaced by this kid just running around and biting people for the heck of it, you know? Just like, hey, you, have I bit you today? No. You like that? Yeah, that's right. I'm taking nibbles out you now. To the point where like a lot of the school was just afraid to interact with him at all because he was so known for biting people, dude. And as for the paper eating habit, that didn't stop either. Like, it was almost as if he really was just hell-bent on making sure he was able to eat paper, which cannot taste very good. You know what I mean? Like, there are some things that kids eat, and it's not understandable, like they shouldn't eat it, but it's a situation where you're like, I understand how the mistake was made. You should never eat a Tide Pod. They do look like a forbidden fruit gusher. Paper, like a whole piece of paper? Well, that sounds awful. You just crumple it up and eat it? Do you take it bite by bite? Both of those sound unenjoyable. On one hand, you have to eat a piece of paper bite by bite, which sounds awful. On the other hand, imagine having to chew your way through a crumpled up piece of paper. None of this sounds like an enjoyable experience. No wonder the kid was so mad. Maybe that's why he walked around biting people, dude, because he was like, listen, my jaw has gotten so strong for being able to bite through a notebook, and I've got to use this skill for some reason. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to interrupt the video for 1 second. On screen now is actually actually a Roblox gift card. I give one of these away in every single video here on this channel as a way to just say thank you to you guys for being subscribed with notifications on. If you haven't already, you might as well press that button. It's literally free, and I give away free money, so you got nothing to lose. And yeah, to everyone who is already subscribed with notifications on, thank you very much. You guys really do make the channel go round, and I appreciate it. And on that note, I'll shut up and get back to the video. Thanks. And because the teachers were ignoring it, eventually the kids in the school had just gotten to the point where they're fed up. They're like, look, this kid's biting me. I'm not down to be bitten, okay? I'm just trying to learn some maths and exist in peace. So they decide that they're gonna take justice into their own hands. And obviously they don't really know what to do because they realize that anything they do, like, is potentially gonna get them in trouble. You know what I mean? Like, you guys were so mean to this kid who was constantly biting you. How dare you? That stuff does happen in school. It sucks, but like, we all know that sometimes it happens. So they decide that they're gonna get back at him, and like the next time he bites anyone, they were just gonna mob justice him because they decided that, hey, we can't all get in trouble, right? And like, this is awful. I would never, ever advocate for this. You shouldn't do this, right? But they didn't know what to do. This kid was a menace. He's biting people. He's eating your homework. Imagine having to use that as an excuse. Oh yeah, Johnny ate my homework, and you're not even lying because the kid probably did. So sure enough, everybody just agrees that like they're gonna group up, and if he bites anyone, they're just gonna take it into their own hands. So it doesn't take very long for him to decide to bite somebody, and he happens to do it on a day where there's a sub in class. And this poor sub dude, basically the incident that goes down is this person was up using the pencil sharpener. Johnny went over to him and bit him, and he went, ow, why did you bite me? And before the substitute teacher could even handle it, dude, everybody in the class just goes over to him and starts just hitting him, dude. Like, stop biting people. Everybody is just hitting this kid, telling him to stop biting people, and he's like, stop it, stop it. And the poor substitute is screaming at them like, guys, knock it off. Just imagine a mob of children fighting. Like, what do you even do in that situation as a substitute teacher, bro? Or even a normal teacher. The entire class just bum rushes the kid that won't stop biting people. You're kind of want to let it keep going, but you know you can't, dude. So this poor substitute teacher has to like throw herself into this mob of children to save poor Johnny the biter. And so she picks up Johnny and starts running him out of the classroom door, and the entire class doesn't chase at that point because they think they've proved their point. And the substitute teacher gets to the door, and when she's opening the door to like go out of it, Johnny decides that he's gonna bite her, and she's carrying him. So he bites her on the shoulder, and she drops him and is like, ow, why did you bite me? And he goes, I don't know, I was scared. And at that point, the class is like, do you need it to happen again? And he starts crying, saying that he's scared and he wants to go to the office and da-da-da-da-da. And it was a smaller school, so by the time that has all happened, the ruckus has already kind of alerted some people. So the office aides like start showing up after the riot that just happened, and they're trying to figure out what happened. Johnny's like, oh my god, you should have seen it. There was a mob. They all ganged up on me. It was crazy. And every one of the kids in his class is just like, no, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. That's not what happened. Nope. Johnny tried to fight us. Johnny tried to fight us. And they were really united in the story, you know? And Johnny is like, ask the teacher. So they asked the teacher what happened. And this is why you gotta be nice to the teacher, bro. This lady was like, no, yeah, Johnny started it. Because she had been bitten on the shoulder by this kid, she was like, dog, I'm sorry, but I'm uniting with them. If the school's not doing anything about it, somebody has to do something about this kid, because he can't just be roaming around biting everyone. So even the teacher betrayed him, dude. She was like, yeah, I'm sorry, but this kid definitely started it. I feel bad for poor Johnny, dude. I'm sure it was horrifying, don't get it wrong, but at the same time, maybe don't run up around biting everybody in your class for no reason if you don't want them to eventually snap and get mad at you. I'm just saying. Anyways, guys, I think that's gonna do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, I would really appreciate you taking a second to press the like button. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought as well. I really do appreciate it. If you don't know what to comment, just go go ahead and comment your favorite type of paper down below. What do you think would taste the best? And yeah, if you're new, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another video. If you want more content, I do have a lot of story times here on the channel, or you can check out my podcast, The Scuffed Cast. Link to that is down in the description. Feel free to go check it out. It's pretty cool if you ask me, even though I'm biased. And along with that, a link to the intro song can be found down there as well if you feel like going and giving it a listen. And the last link that's down there is the merch store. Feel free to cop yourself the merch. It's the coolest merch to ever exist. Obviously, I am a little bit biased, and yeah, if you guys want to send in any stories, the Instagram's @Scrubby, Twitter is @Scrubby_69. But on that note, guys, don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I will see you guys all next time with another video. I'm out. Peace.